Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know if you have any questions. And as always, let's see what we can see in the actual system and see what's going on with XRP Ripple. And if you can see for XRP Ripple news, Deutsche Bank taps Ripple to replace the SWIFT system. And people were saying that Ripple or XRP is going to zero and XRP doesn't have any use cases and XRP is not going anywhere. In the US, it might be stalled out with the Clarity Act, but overseas, XRP is doing things, right? XRP is moving forward. And at some point, uh, XRP will be used for Ripple to slowly take over the crypto market. So let me know what you think in the comments. Running behind a little bit today, but we are here and we are live. And big shout out to Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown will also be in Vegas at the end of April for the XRP conference. And I was looking at the prices, and man, that's crazy. Some of those prices. Let me see. Where is it? Do I have it up still? I think for the conference it is $1,300 or something for the week, and I think $800 or something for the let me see. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick because I was just looking at it. So I might need Caleb and Brown to go ahead and sponsor your boy. Go ahead and get your main man BTM out to Vegas. And this is the XRP Vegas, largest XRP crypto conference in the world, April 30th through May 1st. And if you go to tickets, let me see. I saw a price. Yeah. General admission after party bundle is $839. Thanks, but no thanks. But maybe these guys would be liking to sponsor your boy, but I don't know. But it would be interesting. So let me know in the comments if anybody is going to the bundle. The VIP after party bundle is $1,700. Thanks, but no thanks. But keeping it moving, back to Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a 24/7 crypto brokerage, and they also help you with 24/7 support from an actual human person that is an expert on the actual crypto industry. So if you're new to crypto, they'll help you out there, and a one-on-one broker to assist you. So when you call, you'll talk to the same person. You don't have to worry about re-explaining and starting over every time. It'll be someone there to help you along your crypto journey. So big shout out to Caleb Brown. And Caleb Brown, if you're looking to sponsor somebody for the XRP Vegas, holla at your boy. You can hit me up at blacktigerminer at gmail.com. But let me know. You're looking to sponsor somebody, looking to get your boy out to Vegas, looking to rub elbows with the XRP Elite. I'm here waiting whenever you want to hit me up. Or if you're looking to sponsor somebody, we are all the way live. But as that goes, let me see. This is the sound check, making sure everything is good. Run the sound check real quick. the sound and the audio videos coming through. Dang it. Dang, what the freak would I want to see up? What? Open live, bro. Let me double check. Just verifying. Okay, yeah, we live. We live. So big shout out to Caleb and Brown and the XRP Vegas in 69 days, 7 hours, and 41 minutes. But let's play this quick video. This is
So, folks,
and it's weird because these guys are in another language. Let's close out the bubbles. Let's skip the bubbles today. So this is Deutsche Bank and the upgrade.
so folks, now you can see why there's so much FUD with XRP. Look at it. Deutsche Bank. This was in the non-disclosure. How do I know? Well, when things are heating up, the NDAs start opening up. Go interpret that. Put it on Chat GPT. Take a screenshot. Put it on Chat GPT, or just actually Google this for yourself. Deutsche Bank just announced they're going to use XRP in their infrastructure, the XRP ledger. This bank is the largest global bank headquartered in Germany. That's of German origin. All right. They're headquartered in Frankfurt with $1 to $2 trillion worth, or is it euros? I believe you can, check that for yourself, of assets. They're bringing this onto blockchain. The NDAs will start opening up. This is why there's so much FUD. XRP is going to do this. XRP is going to. No, friends, the day XRP will fly, people will be shocked. Follow me on Patreon, AH for Truth, in the description. Man. So, folks, now you can see why there's so much FUD with XRP. Look at it. Deutsche Bank. This was in the non-disclosure. How do I know? Well, when things are heating up, the NDAs start opening up. Go interpret that. Put it on Chat GPT. Take a screenshot.
So first off, how did you get the NDA? And second off, I'm not even sure what language this is. So I don't know that could do a whole lot there. But he is right. When things start getting crazy, people start dropping dimes left and right. And I think this is going to be a massive push for XRP. And been telling you guys, XRP are ahead of the curve, right? They've already been sued. They've already went through the lawsuits, though there is a lot going on with XRP, right? They're already getting past in clarity, and there already are a lot of people that have done reviews and been updated for XRP. So XRP has already been through the fire. So there's not going to be a lot of new information or revelations popping up about XRP because they've already been through that part. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What up, Silver Days? Thanks for joining BTM Crypto News Network. Let's go, BTM. Smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Silver. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you for always being there. Bro, if we get the sponsorship and we're out to Vegas, Silver, I'm hitting you up, man. Me and you are going to be front row Vegas at the XRP conference. So if they reach out to me, you're the first person I'm calling, buddy. Thanks for all your support. I appreciate the love and appreciate all the help you do for helping out the channel. XRP price prediction as 69 billion. Deutsche Bank partnership with Ripple. Deutsche Bank adopts Ripple's payment technology as XRP trades lower and cycle models signal a possible bottom between 75 and 85 cents. I wish, because I'm buying everything I can get my hands on. I'm selling everything I get my hands on to get in at 75 cents, bro. Deutsche Bank is expanding its use of the Ripple payment infrastructure as the bank seeks to modernize global settlement systems. The move comes as XRP continues to trade under pressure with on-chain data and cycle models pointing to the possibility of a deeper market bottom. The partnership is an important development for blockchain adoption in international banking. And as they say, and missing out on crypto while they argue over what is that? They argue over the interest and the dividend payments between the bank and the crypto companies and the adoptions. The bank aims to shift away from traditional banking systems that depend on multiple intermediaries. These structures often slow transactions and increase costs for institutions that rely on cross border settlement. Deutsche Bank plans to integrate distributed ledger tools to address these issues. The initiative, as a result, is designed to create faster transfer routes and reduce settlement delays across major currencies. And I told you guys, once the bank sees they can save money and pocket more money per transaction, they're going to drop Swift like a wet cold, man. They're going to drop Swift like a wet sock or a cold in the summer, bro. They are out. It doesn't make sense, especially for them. From working in financial services, it always comes down to the bottom line, right? You show any banking institution how they can make another buck, bro, they're gone. And they're regulated and they've already been to court. So you're not going to sue XRP for anything possible fraud or scam or any other allegations. They're going to keep it moving. So it's really coming down to the US and if the US can get regulated on time because the EU is moving forward. So let me know what you guys think. Deutsche Bank expands Ripple integration. According to reports from somebody, a Deutsche Bank is now working with Ripple payments as part of a broader effort to reshape how international transfers are executed. The bank is also taking part in an industry effort that seeks to introduce blockchain powered ledgers within the Swift ecosystem. More than 40 institutions are involved in the project. Ripple's infrastructure allows institutions to send value directly rather than routing payments through several correspondent banks. This approach removes many layers of fees and reduces delays. The bank expects the settlement windows to shrink from days to seconds. Deutsche Bank also aims to improve transparency for clients who track multi-chain, multi-currency flows across global markets. So basically, they're going to use this to make the transactions faster, smoother, and to keep the transactions cheaper. And I think that's one of the problems that these guys are going to run into, right? It's cheaper, it's faster. And what did it say? The approach removes many layers of fees and reduces delays. The bank expects settlement windows to shrink from days to seconds. So think about it. You're sending money to Germany from the US and it takes 3 or 4 days to get there versus with XRP, it takes seconds. Why do you think the bank would not pick this up? And it's cheaper, right? The whole thing with financial services to make more money, right? If this is cheaper and it's faster, it's a no brainer. What kind of clown would not pick that up? Thanks you. What kind of clown would go against this? And it's regulated. It's only the US that's slow to adopt it, right? Everybody else is running to crypto like it's going to save uh, banking. Sorry, I had to take a breath there. The institution is updating systems that were built around Swift messaging. While the Swift remains the global standard for payments as of now, settlements can now still take extended periods due to intermediate chains. By using Ripple based rails, the bank can verify transactions on a shared distributed ledger and remove the need for repeated confirmations. Estimating suggests ledger tools may reduce operational expenses in global payments by up to 30%. 30% could be the lifeline for some of these banks, right? The ones who don't adopt blockchain technology won't be able to keep up, right? If these guys are going to reduce expenses by 30%, they're going to put a lot of banks, a lot of these slow banks, a lot of these Bank of America, allegedly, supposedly, uh, that fee you to death, allegedly, supposedly, can't operate, right? If such banks fee you on transactions, they fee you on uh, ATM withdrawals, they fee you on cash transactions from credit cards, they fee you on investments. They're not going to be able to stay in business if these guys are cutting expenses by 30%. 30% is a lot of money, right? If you're talking about thousands, maybe, but if you're talking about millions and billions, 30% is the difference in a bank operating and a bank going out of business. And as the US is slow to adopt this technology, it's going to hit harder on the US banking system versus the first movers, right? Like Deutsche Bank's going to make a fortune. Cutting by 30%, they're going to be sending money left and right. And the crazy thing is, if you're able to send a cross border payment with a 30% reduction, when that same money comes back, these guys are going to make 30% on sending it and receiving it. So, per se, you send $1 million to Germany and then you request, okay, you send $2 million to Germany and then you request $1 million back, right? These guys are making 60% on these transactions to and fro, 30% to Germany and 30% back to the US on transactions that they're sending, you're sending them, right? They're not even doing anything. They're just getting money from you and sending it back, and they're making 60%. It ain't going to take long before that 60% wipes out whatever bank is doing business with them, i.e., Bank of America. The partnership comes as XRP trades in a bearish environment. The asset has dropped about 60% from the 2025 all time high of $3.60. Market pressure increased earlier this month as XRP lost the $1.50 support zone. The decline continues in February, and XRP fell to a 15-month low of $1.12, $1.11 before recovering to about $1.41. And keep that in mind. Every time the market dips crazy, it's going to bounce back hard, right? We'll look at the numbers in a minute. Many traders believe that the 111 low could represent the bottom of the current cycle. However, some analysts say historical patterns point to the possibility of a deeper move. The market technical Egrain, crypto presented cycle math model suggesting that the cycle bottom trends to be 2.8 times higher than the previous one. Based on the structure, a bottom near 78 cents is possible. The projected range places support between 75 and 85 cents. Please and thank you. If it goes down to 75 cents, bro, I'm buying. I'm buying as much as I can get my hands on. XRP saw major sell pressure during the February downturn. A single 2-day drop pushed the asset close to the cycle low. Analysts say the market remains sensitive to macro conditions and liquidity swings across the broader crypto sector. And he's right, it's not just XRP. everybody seems to think it is the individual crypto, but it is the entire crypto market. So these guys aren't really doing anything, right? It's the market that's down. It's not the individual crypto, which a lot of people think, which is weird, that the individual crypto is bringing the market down. And go back to the crypto bubbles. It's the entire market that's down, guys. What the? How did that happen? Looking at the market. So you can see here, it's a lot of red in the market. ZEP is up 5.9. Hyperliquid's up 1.6. Nexo, I'm not sure what it is, up 0.2. Trump coin is up 0.6. Bitcoin Cash is up 0.6, 0.8. SQD, I need to figure out, these guys have been running, is up 3.5. Airdrone Financial is up 1.8. Zebek ZBCN is up 3.6. Swarm's up 4.1. XPR is up 0.7. Injective is up 12.2. Monero's up 1.3. And the lithium's up 1.1. Bitcoin is up 0.8 on the day, 1.9 on the week, down 24% on the month, and down 30.4 on the year, still at 67,100, with 67,001, which is weird because it was at 67,000 yesterday. So how can it be up 0.8? I'm not sure, but I'm not even going to do the math there. Come back over to XRP is up 0.2 on the hour, down 1.1 on the day, down 4.4 on the week, up 4.4 on the week, down 25.3 on the month, and down 47.2 on the year. But it's weird because in the Japanese market, XRP is up. I saw it was either Japan or Korea had XRP at $57. So it's weird, which I haven't quite figured out. Why is the US market's crypto suppressed versus the global crypto market? So I don't really understand that either. But I do know what is this guy? Bankman Freud, wherever they got the FTX guy was buying Bitcoin in the US and selling it in Japan and making a profit. So theoretically, if you were to buy XRP here and had a way to exchange it to a Japanese exchange, and theirs is $57 per XRP versus ours is $1.47, you'd make roughly $51 per XRP, which is crazy, but I don't know how that's actually happening. But let's go back to the article. Analysts diverge on long-term projections. While cycle models show the potential for deeper short-term decline, long-term projections remain mixed. As we earlier reported, Standard Charter recently reduced its end 2026 XRP target from $8 to $2.80 because Standard Charter are crooks, allegedly, supposedly, right? If you reduce the target down and create FOMO and you buy it cheap now, and then you come back and tell us, I don't know, August, when crypto's at a low or heading to the lowest month, September, that the price target is 225 or $2, and you buy up as much as you can, and then in October you tell people it's going to $10, you've already bought two price dips that you helped create, right? I'm not saying this has happened, allegedly, supposedly, possibly, but it is kind of a good way for these guys to make money. And if these guys are telling us $2.80, they believe it is much lower or it is much higher, right? They never tell us exactly. They always tell us old information or something to create FOMO. What up, S. Bailey? Bailey? Bay? Bale Bay? What up, SB? We'll keep it a kosher. However, Standard Charter has kept the 2030 forecast at $28. So long term, you guys know it's gonna pop like we know it's gonna pop. But you saying short term, the price is going down. I mean, I've been in financial services for a pretty good amount of time. So I can tell you if they're saying the long term prediction is $28 and the short term is down to 280, one of these numbers is wrong, or both these numbers are low, right? They're always going to give you a low number. So if you're figuring or guesstimating, your guesstimations will be off while they pocket the difference. The firm said long term adoption of cross border tokenization settlement could raise demand for digital assets that support institutional payment networks. At press time, the XRP price was trading at $1.40 and 4.38% decline from the 24-hour resistance level. So I'll put this article in the post. Wait, I'll add this to the updates for later. As I always put the articles so you guys can read them for yourself, share them with your friends, or whatever you want to do. But the information will be there for future references. Moving forward, XRP price gets ready to rumble as Deutsche Bank, that's a cool tiger, taps Ripple to hijack Swift's throne. Story spotlight: Deutsche Bank is abandoning slow legacy payment models in favor of Ripple's blockchain. This move could ignite a major price recovery for XRP. XRP USD could be heading for a major shift now that Deutsche Bank, down 1.36, is moving away from traditional banking methods. And I was looking at that yesterday. As the system is upgraded slowly but surely, people are going to SBL Bay. As people leave the system, right, they are going to slowly but surely move to something that's faster and cheaper. And when this happens, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to flip the switch and start collecting checks. And when this happens, the adoption, especially in the US, will be slow as these guys are making buku Deutsches or dinero, whatever it is. And we're trying to fight, what is that? Yields. We're trying to fight yield payments because the banks know that their time's running out. Allegedly, supposedly. I don't want to get sued. If you sue me, I don't care. I'm not going to pay you anyway. Even through the market has been a bit weak lately, it is hard to ignore a giant bank changing how it moves money around the world. Deutsche Bank is now using Ripple's technology to lead a new project within the Swift network. This move suggests while the broader market is currently quiet, the underlying technology is being adopted at the highest level of global finance. And keep in mind, they're saying adopted. They're not saying tested. They're not saying researched. They're not saying reviewed. These guys are already making the switch, right? And everyone else is talking about they're testing it or they might not use it. It just said they are adopting, meaning they've already researched it, they've already tested it, and they are going to implement it. So believe what you want. Just don't listen to futters, guys. I'm here to help you navigate the crypto market and understand what you're investing in. Anything I tell you about, I've already researched it and I'm already invested in it. I'm not getting paid by Deutsche Bank. I wish I was, or XRP or Ripple. I'm merely giving you what I'm finding from my own research. And again, I'm here to help you guys navigate the crypto market so you guys don't lose out like I did investing in meme coins and other tokens and coins that aren't profitable, right? I'm here to give you the information I'm getting to show you where the money is. Deutsche Bank chose Ripple to fix problems of old seasoned global payments, old fashioned global payments. Usually, sending money to another country is slow and expensive because the money has to pass through many middleman banks. Using blockchain technology allows Deutsche Bank to cut those extra steps. Experts think this change could lower the bank's cost by as much as 30%. Because this saves so much money, other banks will likely feel the pressure and start using Ripple too. This shift adds significant long term value to the network by proving that the blockchain can handle trillions in real world transactions. And I'm going to tell you, once these guys pick it up, they see it works. And the biggest thing is lowers the bank's cost by 30%, right? It ain't going to take long for 30% to start putting people out of business, right? And the slow adopters, the ones that are too late, the ones that are in Congress lobbying against it, will be sitting at home wondering where it all went wrong. Fast transfer ends the long wait for money. For the long time, the SWIFT system has been the main way banks talk to each other, but it often takes days to transfer to actually finish. Deutsche Bank's trying to end the wait. Utilizing Ripple's network allows the bank to finish transfers in seconds. This means the bank doesn't have to keep huge piles of extra cash sitting in foreign accounts just to make sure payments go through. This new way of moving money frees up billions of dollars that banks could use for other things, making the whole system much more efficient. Let me read that last part again. This means banks do not have to keep huge piles of extra cash sitting in foreign banks just to make sure payments go through. This new way of moving money frees up billions of dollars that the banks could use for other things. And what do you think these other things are going to be? They're going to start buying up the banks that are still using the SWIFT system because they can't afford to stay in business with these guys sitting large amounts of cash waiting for these payments to go through, right? They're going to start using these faster, cheaper alternatives, right? If Deutsche Bank could send the money and cost less, why would you go to Bank of America and wait a week and pay 30% more to move the same amount of money? They're going to find Deutsche Bank and start dealing with these guys, right? In the world of money and moving millions and billions of dollars, every cent counts, right? So why would you wait? Real world use puts upward pressure on the price. The most impactful part of investors is how this tech actually uses the XRP token. Deutsche Bank is also setting up a digital asset commodity, which acts like a bank vault for assets like XRP. So it makes sense to get the XRP. People are saying they're not going to use the XRP, they're going to use Ripple, and XRP is going to be worthless. And clearly, the asset XRP would be the purchase, right? You can't buy Ripple on the open market, right? All you can buy is the XRP, which is Ripple, and the XRPL. The XRPL is a stable coin, so it's not going to really change in value. The only thing that could go up in value is the actual XRP token. And as I've been telling you guys for months now, the current price at $1.50 would not be feasible to send millions and billions and trillions of dollars, right? The value has to go up, or you're going to send trillions and millions of XRP tokens. Versus if the token goes up in price, you're not going to have to use that many tokens. And the guys on the sideline, like us, the retailers that got in early, are going to make a profit, a huge profit. As the banks start swinging XRP cross border, we're just going to sit back and watch our money stack. Allegedly, supposedly, it's not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. When a bank this big creates a safe way for institutions to hold XRP, it clears up the path for on-demand liquidity, ODL. This process uses XRP as a bridge to swap one currency for another instantly. If Deutsche Bank begins using the XRP to settle even a small fraction of its daily transfers, the constant buying and selling of the token will create a massive liquidity floor that pushes the price higher over time. I'll read that last one again. If Deutsche Bank begins using the XRP token that we hold and know and love to settle even a fraction of its daily transactions, right? These guys are sending billions of dollars back and forth every single day, right? Even if they use the XRP for penny transactions or tens or thousands of dollars transactions, these simple XRP swaps and a fraction of its daily transfers, the constant buying and selling of the token would create a massive liquidity floor that pushes the price higher over time. So back over to the chat. What is this? XPT crypto on Coinbase has pumped nonstop in the last 2 days. XRP. What is XTP? We'll check that out. I don't deal with Coinbase strictly because Coinbase tries to feed you to death. It's kind of the same thing, guys. But you can use Coinbase if you want to. I'm hip to that game. Oh wow, this is. Are you talking? Wait a minute. What? There are three different FTPs here. A platinum derivative, which clearly I don't think you're talking about. Then there is a. I'm not even sure we can use the derivative markets in the US, actually. So I suspect you're talking about crypto buyer. Or maybe this XTP token IO. Oh, you're talking about the Solana token or the base token? I know you're not talking about a dot pump token, bro. I know you're joking. I know you're joking. And what was that? What was the other one? What's my dang? What the freak is going on here? In this rabbit hole with these XTP tokens. What is this? This is. I think that's a base token, which is up 184. But we'll look at that later. Back to business. Oh man, I'm falling this freaking back in this derivative again. Something wrong with my keyboard. So currently XRP is $1.40, down 0.98% on the day. Market cap is 85.8 billion, down 0.87% on the day. 24-hour trading balance 2.3 billion, up 15.6%. So let's see. I guess we'll go over to X real quick. Before that, crypto market cap is currently 2.34 trillion, up 1.34% on the day. Current crypto.com 20 is down 2.3% to $1.37.46. And we are fear and greed. We're still in extreme fear at 12. Altcoin season, we're pulling away from Bitcoin dominance to 32. I think we're at 30 yesterday. So altcoin season is coming. And the average crypto RSI is 48.48, which I think it was close to that yesterday. Bitcoin's at 67,083, down 0.9%. Ethereum's down 0.93 to 1,969. XRP is down 1.51%. Solana is $82, down 2.67%. Let's see here. Canton Network is up 1.81% to 16.6%. Monero's $340, up 2.97%. Stellar XLM is 16 cent, up 1.42%. World Liberty Financial is up 0.03 to 99 cents. Zcash is $285.98, up 0.9%. HBAR is 10 cents, up 1.3. So we'll go back over to X. On X, this is the BTM Crypto News Network. Make sure you sign up to be current on news and events. XRP price prediction as 69 billion. Deutsche Bank partners with Ripple. One company's going first in any major financial shift, absorbs the risk. Deutsche Bank went first for banking. Evernorth went first for corporate treasury. And as you know, Evernorth will be the micro strategy of XRP. If XRP does what Bitcoin does, right, the Evernorth guys are going to be filthy rich. They're buying up XRP like it's going out of style. Every institution watching from the sideline now has a playbook. Far less risk to follow. So is there an article here? We can come back to that guy. Keeping it going. Deutsche Bank isn't experimenting with blockchain. It's actively replacing SWIFT, the 50-year-old backbone of international banking, with Ripple's infrastructure for cross-border payments, faster settlement, lower costs, no correspondent banking chain. This is a pivot, not a pilot. And I mentioned that previously. The first to adopt are the ones that are going to get crazy and make that MONEY. The bank's world just exploded. Germany's Deutsche Bank is going all in with Ripple payment tech. Global payments are about to go from days to seconds. XRP could be the unstoppable liquidity weapon. This isn't hype. This is a revolution. Rails are set. Let's go. Alfred, I hold XRP as well. Alfred, what is this XPT? Which one was it? Was it the pump token or is it the derivative? So, Deutsche Bank invests in XRP technology. Deutsche Bank. Okay, I'm not even sure if that's English. That's French. Why is France talking about what's going on in Germany, and we're still arguing over uh yields? Flare, $100 million XRP earning on APY Flare Network. Deutsche Bank's going to live with Ripple to change the financial world. It's happening. Royce Rios was right. She said it premature. The train has left the station. Is opening a new chapter in modernization of global finance by significantly increasing the integration of technology from Ripple Systems. The Frankfurt based bank aims to fundamentally reform the structure of worldwide money transfers, which are often criticized as outdated. The focus is not only on cross border payments, but also complex foreign exchange business, as well as the secure custody of digital assets.
Reviews. Thank you for being here. Today, it's Thursday, February 19th. I got a quick little crypto video
Let's see what this guy's talking
for you.
about.
Remember that none of this is financial advice. Let's start with this post from Boars Online. Look at this. They say that Deutsche Bank is opening a new chapter in the modernization of global finance. All right, and what they're doing is integrating the technologies from Ripple. This is insane, okay? And what they're trying to do is fundamentally reform the structures of worldwide money transfers, which are often criticized as outdated. As we know, SWIFT came out in the 1960s, and it was just a messenger between banks. Their focus is not only on cross-border payments, but also on the complex foreign exchange business, as well as the secure custody of digital assets. And that's what we need, man. We need secure custody of digital assets. I'm sick of reading stories about people losing their bags because of XYZ, but usually it's because of user error. And we can't have these massive accounts getting rogued. That would be terrible for the whole landscape of crypto. If you had somebody with a ton of money that was a bank onboard a shit ton of users and then get rogued. This says, so far, international transfers have been considered the problem child of the financial industry. They're usually slow, opaque, and associated with high fees. Deutsche Bank is now using the blockchain solutions powered by Ripple technology to eliminate these frictional losses. Instead of moving value through cumbersome chains of correspondent banks, these infrastructures enable direct transfers. Dude, and this is something that we've been talking about for years and years. I can't even tell you how many times I listened to the digital asset investor talk about the IMF documents. There were PDFs on the IMF's website going back to 2017, talking about the next level of the financial rails and how we were going to go above the walled gardens that was one bank sending to another bank and go to a direct transfer. This has been a conversation, man. It has been. And we're almost 10 years out from these documents now. And Digital Asset did a great job covering this shit. All right. And he sounded like Hank from freaking, God, what's that show called? He's like, Bobby, King of the Hill. While traditional transfers often take several days, the new infrastructure shortens this process to just a few seconds. This offers enormous advantages for multi-currency accounts and global foreign exchange trading, as liquidity can now be provided in real time. In addition, blockchain documentation increases security, since every transaction is tamper-proof and immediately traceable. Man, go send some money with Western Union. They're going to fucking tell you what. I mean, seriously, how long does it take to get there? And can you track where the money's at? Crypto's instant. Go play with XRPL, man. Get a Zayman wallet and send some money to another Zayman wallet of yours. Get two Zayman wallets and send some money between yourself and see how fast it is. Send some money from Uphold to Zayman and know that Uphold might take a second because it's an exchange. Send some money from Zayman to the likes of Coinbase. It's instant, okay? The economic impact of this technological shift is enormous. Estimates suggest that the use of distributed ledger technology, DLT, can reduce operating costs and global payments by up to 30%, given transaction volumes that reach into the trillions worldwide. This creates massive saving potential for the institution and its clients. In addition to payments, Deutsche Bank is also pushing forward in the field of digital asset custody. The goal is to offer customers the custody of digital assets with the same level of security they are accustomed to from traditional securities. The scalability of the Ripple infrastructure provides the technological foundation for this. Huge, man. Absolutely massive, dude. And you know what? When David stepped away as the CTO, it was because he had finished. And this confirms all, man. The banks are ready to onboard. Everything's finished. They have all these products ready, dude. This is the Amazon of payments. And the Amazon of payments helped build the DeFi layer for tokens that don't have EVM. It's been a huge, monumental day in the Flare networks, man. We reached 100 million FXRP minted on Flare networks. Look at this by CoinDesk. They reported on it, man. 100 million XRP is now generating yield on Flare. That's incredible. That's worth $146 million. And Hugo says that the next unlock's going to be huge. Is it going to double? We're going to go to 200 million. Win 1 billion. That's what Bifrost said. And it's freaking massive, man. Because that is going to happen. And that'll be 1% of the overall supply of XRP. I think we're going to end up having more than 1% of the overall supply of XRP earning a yield on Flare. And what's that going to mean for Flare? Because if you go play with Flare and you go deposit XRP and turn it into FXRP on the likes of a Bifrost using Flare networks, it costs Flare to do this. There's not infinite amounts of Flare. It's incredible what's going on, man. I think the opportunities are all here right ahead of us. You know, XRP right now is only $1.40. Okay? It is, man. It's $1.40, dude. Flare is teetering at 1 penny. You don't think that this is the opportunity? Because I think it is. And don't even get me started on Songbird, which is 0.2 of a penny. Songbird is the canary network for Flare. It's not going to disappear. And arguably, Songbird is always going to be a little bit ahead of Flare because things have to come out on Songbird before Flare. And I know that we've seen some things skip this. We've seen the likes of Kinetic, SparkDex, just skip Songbird, right? I don't know what to say about it because I'm not a part of the team, but I do know that it hasn't been abandoned, right? Do we hear about it often? No, because when you're trying to push a product, you got to push the product that's going to help you fly. But are you going to abandon all your products? No. You're hoping that the one that helps you fly is going to uplift all of them. All boats will rise. And if you get in on the likes of a Flare at 1 penny or a Songbird at 0.2 of a penny or an XRP at $1.40, 5 to 10 years from now, you're going to be thanking yourself that you had the balls to play, man. And I can speak from experience because I've been here for 8 years and I'm thinking myself, but I'm not done, man. I'm not done. I'm too young to be dumb. You hear that? I misspoke. I'm too young to be dumb, I said. And obviously we know that's an oxymoron. You're never out of the age realm of being dumb. I mean, some people just thought that adults were smart, right? Adults are dumb. Dude, the youth are probably smarter than the adults because the youth haven't been implemented upon yet all the dumbness of the adults. But, a lot of people make it out. And thankfully, we do have a lot of smart people in the world. And we have to fucking cultivate this shit, dude. If you're not the smartest person in the room, good. You don't want to be in some room being the smartest person. That's not good, bro. And it happens sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with it. But, you don't want to stay there forever. You don't want to stay in any room forever, bro. Grow. Go see the world. Meet new friends. Try new things, dude. Find new food. It's fun, man. It's an exciting life, dude. And my buddy was telling me that I had to go touch the grass. That's what he said. He was like, hey, bro, you got to get out of crypto sometime and go touch the grass, bro. Life's better where I'm at, dude. He said, I've been Japanese sword fighting. He told me I'd been on 26 dates. He started going on and on about all this shit he'd been doing. I was like, bro, you sound like you're out of your mind. You've been Japanese sword fighting. What are you fucking on about, dude? You want me to touch grass? You go touch the grass. Okay, because this is the grass that I'm touching, bro. This is my reality. And the reality that I've been on about all this time, I've been listening to all these XRP conspiracy theories. I put on the tinfoil hat like fucking conspiracy crypto Alex Jones, okay? And I got into this, bro. And it's coming true. It's happening in real life, bro. This is the grass, bro. FXRP. All the banks coming onto XRP and then needing security of how you're going to hold that money. And then it gets transferred to FXRP and earns a yield, bro. This is the new banking system. It's Zach with Dr. Reviews. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday Eve. I hope it's a good day, man. Until next time.
So shout out to this guy and happy Friday Eve. Actually, some pretty good information. Yeah, people are missing out because, like you said, talking about Japanese sword, bro. Please, well, it depends on personal preference, right? Do you guys want to create generational wealth, or do you want a Japanese sword fight? I mean, I'm not gonna knock your hustle either way, bro, but there is a massive shift happening in banking, and then people are talking about Japanese sword fighting. Hey, whatever floats your boat, right? But I'm trying to create some generational wealth, right? Maybe things are going well. Your kids will be able to Japanese sword fight, right? But at the um interesting part about positioning yourself, right? The banks want to take lead in the new blockchain initiative as industry giant Swift with help from Ripple infrastructure. Deutsche Bank has positioned itself to be the forefront of technology turning point in order to reorganize global payment transactions. The Frankfurt based financial institution is increasingly relying on Ripple technology. The goal is ambitious. The bank wants to take the lead in the new blockchain initiative of the industry giant Swift with the help of the Ripple infrastructure. Until now, the Swift network was considered reliable but sluggish. International transfers in dollars and euros often take days and accrue high fees. Deutsche Bank's now breaking up these entrusted structures by working with Ripple related service providers. It is modernizing the foreign exchange business and multi currency accounts. So basically, they are progressing forward in the industry that's using 50-year-old technology. So let me know what you guys think about that. Think it's gonna make or break a lot of the banking industries, but we will see. But if these guys are using old technology, which we have considered being outdated, it's only a matter of time before things run out and these guys don't continue on the current trajectory. I was trying to see 30, 40 minute trying to figure out something here. Watch Trump's press conference and live. Gotta go pick up. Just trying to create a quick little backup plan just in case things run over. Oh, you can run that one. Oh, yeah. So I guess we don't have to worry about the backup plan. So continuing forward, Deutsche Bank is deepening its use of the Ripple infrastructure to modernize cross-border payments, moving beyond slow, costly, intermediate heavy systems for legacy rails like Swift to blockchain-powered settlements. Most people miss the quieter story behind the Deutsche Bank headline. Evernorth, led by longtime XRP insider Hapesh, is deploying institutional capital directly into DeFi protocols on the XRP ledger, lending, liquidity, yield generation. They're building on ramps so the bigger trucks can follow. And that's what I'm saying, as a first adopter, right? Once they prove it out, people will have to, right? They won't have a choice but to adopt it or go out of business, right? Change is inevitable and people fight change, but people lose. So let me know what you guys think Huge update. Deutsche Bank is placing its confidence in Ripple technology, bullish for XRP. And this is Deutsche Bank is further advancing the digital transformation of the banking sector, increasingly relying on technology from the Ripple ecosystem. This aim is to make cross-border payments flows faster, more efficient, and more transparent to all the fundamentally modernization, the structure of the international money transfer translates to, somebody translated, relies on XRP infrastructure. Deutsche Bank is further advancing the digital transformation of the banking sector, increasingly relying on technology from the Ripple ecosystem. The aim is to make cross-border payment flows faster, more efficient, more transparent, and to fundamentally modernize the structures of the international money transfer. Interesting. Glad somebody freaking translated that. Let's see. Guess we'll hit this video real quick. Talking about Swift replace the $1.8 trillion banking activated. Let's run this real
Right
quick.
now, you are going to miss seeing exactly how the legacy payment rails are being systematically dismantled and replaced by a brand new system, all powered by XRP. And listen, this isn't some future prediction, it's happening as we speak. The old rails are literally crumbling.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Picture this. Right now, Britain's biggest banks are meeting to roll out a cardless payment system. The goal? To make Visa and MasterCard completely obsolete. They are done with the old way of doing things.
But here is the twist, the part that changes the entire game. The back-end infrastructure, the engine for this entire new system in the UK? It's not just a plan. It's already being built and put into action by a major Ripple partner. The takeover isn't coming, it's already here.
And this slide lays out the battlefield perfectly. On one side, you've got the old guard, Visa, MasterCard, high fees, slow settlement. You know the drill. On the other side, you've got this new powerhouse team. Citizen handles the part you see, and they've partnered with OpenPaid, the middleware that connects directly to Ripple. Their value proposition is so simple it's brutal. Instant settlement for a tiny fraction of the cost.
And we're not talking about a small discount here. We're talking about a potential cost reduction of up to 80%. 80! How is that even possible? Well, it's simple. You get rid of the old, rusty rails and you plug into modern blockchain infrastructure like Ripple payments. A number like 80% isn't just an improvement, it's an extinction-level event for the legacy system. So let's connect the dots so this is crystal clear. Citizen is the front door. It's what businesses and you will see. OpenPaid is the engine room, the critical link connecting them to these new financial highways. And what's the very foundation of this entire structure? That's Ripple Payments, almost certainly using their new stablecoin RLUSD, which is just Ripple's official digital dollar. You can literally trace the line from a simple payment in the UK straight to Ripple's network.
But if you think this is just a UK story, you're missing the bigger picture. This is a massive continental shift. Europe's financial titans, the really big fish, are making the exact same play. Let's talk about Deutsche Bank. They're positioning themselves to lead Swift's new blockchain project. And guess what technology they're reportedly looking at to do it? Ripples.
Why are they doing this? To completely overhaul their foreign exchange operations. And they're targeting a 30% cut in operational costs. You have to understand, when a bank the size of Deutsche Bank moves to cut costs by a third using a specific technology, you better be paying very close attention.
But it gets even crazier and even more direct. Let's move on to Societe Generale, or SocGen. We're talking about one of the 10 biggest banks in all of Europe, and what they're doing isn't a report, it's not a pilot program, it's not a test. This is live, right now. And just so the scale of this really sinks in, Societe Generale is an institution with almost $1.8 trillion in assets. This is not some small, nimble fintech startup playing around. This is the definition of smart money, of the global establishment. So what did this $1.8 trillion banking giant just do? They launched their fully regulated bank-issued euro stablecoin,
the EURCV, and it is now officially live on the XRP ledger. This is a massive, massive vote of confidence. They are putting a core European banking asset directly onto Ripple's blockchain. So we've clearly seen the big banks are moving in. The path is being paved. But the question that I know you're asking is, okay, that's great for them, but what does this mean for the price of XRP? Well, that brings us to a huge development that hits that question head on. Before we break down why Coinbase just added XRP as yield-bearing collateral and how this could permanently crush sell pressure, let me be blunt. According to Crypto Global News, if you are watching this without a subscription, you are missing the most critical alerts. You're falling behind. So click subscribe right now to stay on the timeline. And for all of our viewers in the US, this next piece of news from Coinbase is an absolute game changer. So here's how this new Coinbase system works, and it's brilliant for the market. Now you can take your XRP, deposit it on Coinbase, and through a protocol called Morpho, you can borrow USDC stablecoins against it as collateral. Just think about what that means. You can get access to cash without ever selling your XRP. This removes a massive, constant source of sell pressure that has plagued the market for years. News like this moves the market and it breaks fast. If you want to get these updates first, you need to join my Telegram. You can just scan the QR code that's on your screen or use the link down in the description. I'm also dropping a post in the YouTube community tab later today because I really want to hear your thoughts on this Coinbase development. But there is one final critical piece of the puzzle that ties everything together for the big banks. The XRP ledger just activated something called XLS81. Now, in plain English, this is a feature that lets banks create their own private, compliant, members-only exchanges right on the public ledger. It single-handedly solves all of their know your customer and privacy nightmares. And this quote just says it all. For over a decade, the number one reason banks gave for not using public blockchains was compliance. KYC, anti-money laundering rules, they couldn't operate in that kind of public environment. Well, the permissioned DEX just bulldozed that barrier. It's gone. Their biggest excuse has just vanished into thin air. So let's just recap the four major pillars we've established. 1. The legacy system is actively being replaced. 2. Europe's biggest banks are already on board and integrating with the XRPL. 3. A key source of sell pressure has just been plugged by Coinbase. And 4. The final compliance barrier for every other bank in the world has just been eliminated. The infrastructure isn't coming, it's built. Which leads us to the final, unavoidable question. The infrastructure is complete. The banks are showing up to the party. So, what happens next? Everything we have covered today, it's all just a prelude. It's the setup for what insiders are now calling the institutional flip. To understand exactly what that is, and more importantly, the timeline for it, you need to watch the explainer that's on your screen right now. Go ahead and click it. I'll see you there.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.
So shout out to global markets. This is XRP news. Deutsche Bank is betting on XRP. Let's see what these guys are talking
The
about.
fly wasn't stupid. It just said la 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 la. Joe, my friends, what's the scoop?
And a warm welcome to the good loud XRP bros.
Yes, folks, it's no news. XP News from the XP Germany team is back with you. It is what it is. Every day at 1 p.m. here is XAP Germany. Mega news. Today, very strong news. Among other things, the German bank is betting on Ripple XP. Pay attention, guys. That's what we're talking about. Apart from that, very, very important. The big players are now ready. Now comes the application list. Now, everything is laid. The tracks are laid. All that's left is for the train to start moving.
The German Wang. What's going on here?
Wow, these are such cool people. This video is packed with so much great content, a truly upbeat and energetic production, all to support the family. Subscribe to this channel, give it a big like.
On that note, let's get into Olga.
Hey friends, this video is sponsored by Bitwavo.
For a limited time only, you can get Euro 20 euros for free via our link. With among the lowest fees across Europe, this change benefits from the robust German regulatory framework. Our top one, crypto.
Guys, today is actually the first day of Ramadan. For all those who are fasting, lots of strength and power, and especially for Christians, today is also a coincidence. That was really cool. So have fun fasting for all those who are fasting, and I wish you lots of strength, L.
Exactly, from me too. Keep going, and yes, lots of strength.
Yes, maybe you should fast too, right?
Yes, I've been thinking about doing a therapeutic fast. Water fasting, that's something I really like or am very interested in.
You were also celebrating Carnival the whole time. Do you know why you actually celebrated Carnival? So why do people celebrate Carnival?
Because I was in a bad mood, that's why I celebrated Carnival.
Carnival actually means farewell to meat in Old Latin, right?
Okay.
Okay, that's what you do. You celebrate just before fasting, let's say the whole thing, but we can do something else here in a moment. Yes, guys, you'll learn a lot. I know a few more stories about Carnival. I know everything about the
Schützenfest Carnival. Simon knows everything here, right?
Simon knows everything. It's been 5,000 years. Listen, for 180 years, there have been old women and stuff like that. But that's where everything falls apart. Let's start first. Let's start, and then we'll talk about it. Man, what's going on here?
Listen on, let's discuss this whole thing first, since we have some really fantastic, incredible news to share with you today. Prepare yourself. Not only the topic of Deutsche Bank, but also the permission decks that were introduced on the XP Ledger H. What does all this mean? It's going completely crazy. The whole market isn't very informative. Maybe there were setbacks. It went up again minimally in the topic of Iran. America's definitely going to crash, right? This weekend, next week, it's definitely going to be exciting, and we'll report. Things are moving forward. If you'd like more information on this topic, I've also posted some additional tweets about it on X. Feel free to take another look. But I'd say otherwise, let's jump right in. No big announcement from the market right now. What's much more interesting is the topic, right?
Absolutely. We haven't had anything like this in a long time, right? Yes, that's actually a potentially positive aspect. But the situation with America is, well, you know, that we're currently lacking any clear direction. Everything is crazy right now. There are
So many indicators and there's so much chart analysis, it's simply impossible to adapt fully to them right now. We're currently seeing the divergence between altcoins and global liquidity, which is getting so far apart and is getting further and further apart. Normally, we always lag behind a bit. What is evident in these difficult and challenging times is that, of course, high-risk assets won't outperform assets such as precious metals or similar. We have to wait and see, and then we will gradually also catch up with global liquidity again, and the altcoins will also perform incredibly well.
absolute. Look here, I see it in the trends, right? Trump Epstein thing, right? That's getting hotter and hotter, right? Well, perhaps yes. I mean, I'm not claiming a conspiracy here, but maybe what's happening with Iran is, in fact, a distraction, a way to draw attention away from themselves.
It's not a definitive statement, of course, but it would be a substantial distraction, wouldn't it?
And they like to get it there and then forget about it at some point. It's always been like that.
If you're interested in the topics, feel free to write in the comments. We can also make special videos about it on the second channel. We previously had a discussion about Bitcoin, Ripple, Game, XLM, and Epstein. Feel free to check out what was going on in the playlist. But here it is. It's going to get really exciting again today, right?
Absolutely. Here's a post from Eleanor Terrett, one of the moderators, a journalist hailing from the United States.
Exactly. Now, we already had speculation about this yesterday, and we covered it in our news report. Today, it has been officially confirmed. A third meeting on Bitcoin yields will take place today at 9 a.m. ET at the White House. A small group representing crypto and banks is expected. More on that, yes, there will be today. We will definitely report back. And what is that, Dina?
As we have discussed recently with several experts to truly analyze this, or rather to examine these charts, when you observe them and see this upward movement as you are currently observing, you can be certain, based on their expertise, that there is always insider knowledge at play.
Some people are familiar with Polymarket. Betting options are available here, covering a wide range of events. And the question is Polymarket now one of the most honest indicators in the market? It's my understanding that many analysts are using Polymarket for specific decision-making processes, primarily because increasingly investors are consulting prediction markets before committing to a position. But why the question, of course, is because markets often react faster than key figures. While it's obviously not a crystal ball, if the capital markets pricing reflects probabilities, then a thorough analysis of the specific wording is essential, especially when the probability jumps significantly.
Or from 60% to 90% in the question almost instantaneously, don't you think? It happened so abruptly, and then someone with incredibly extensive insider information walked in.
I know, exactly, insider, 100%. I would definitely leave it at that.
It says the law will come into effect in 2026. I wanted to say, let's
hope so. Minister Ging has confirmed, or perhaps I should say stated with a high degree of confidence, that we are highly likely with an 80% probability to see the legislation finalized by April. However, we now must immediately address one of the most shocking pieces of news. Wouldn't you agree?
Who would have thought? Hello, all. Some of you have been following us for quite a while now, and we did actually discuss this very thing a few years ago. We went to Volksbank, we went to Sparkasse, we were at Deutsche Bank. We said crypto, Ripple, XPI. We don't know. We don't want that. Now they're all slowly coming, right? Now they're all slowly kissing hands. What's going on?
I wouldn't express it quite that way, but it's true that an acquaintance of mine also works at the bank. I won't say which ones, but he's been very interested in this topic for years. Indeed, he's gained a great deal of knowledge from his colleagues regarding cryptocurrencies, Ripple, and similar technologies, but let's leave it at that for now. So, of course, it's a lot of speculation.
The problem is that their aim is to sell their investments, and if, let's say, crypto assets are not in their portfolio available for sale to what I would call a non-private investor, then they obviously won't recommend it to us and will naturally speak negatively about it, correct? Correct.
We heard from some individuals that they are presently managing their crypto assets.
Additionally, we have reliable insight sources reporting that the Sparkcast Bank intends to gradually implement crypto asset services this year. However, let's defer discussion about specific insider information
And concentrate on the broader implications for the German market, as this is no longer speculation, it's an established fact. XP and Deutsche Bank are betting on Ripple power here from the shareholders, or the shareholders posted again. Here we have the information from Börse Online again. So it is definitely completely serious here. The Deutsche Bank is initiating a new chapter in the modernization of the global financial system by increasing the integration of technologies from the Ripple ecosystem. The Frankfurt-based bank is aiming to fundamentally reform the structures of global money transfers, which are often criticized as outdated. In doing so, the focus is not only on cross-border payments, but also on the complex foreign exchange business, as well as the secure safekeeping of digital assets. Friends, all you really have to do is read this, and I was absolutely over the moon yesterday when I read it. I was glowing. I was really thrilled, grinning like crazy the whole time. I don't even know what to say.
I don't know, you have to be a bit hyperactive.
I really am hyperactive. This is absolutely crazy. And up until now, international transfers have been considered the problem child of the financial industry. They are usually slow, non-transparent, and associated with high fees. With the aim of eliminating frictional losses, Deutsche Bank is now leveraging blockchain solutions underpinned by Ripple technology. The old way, using a complex network of correspondent banks, is a thing of the past. This new infrastructure facilitates direct transfers, offering a substantial improvement in speed and efficiency. We're all familiar with the typical multi-day delays associated with traditional bank transfers. This new technology, however, cuts that time down to just a few seconds. Here again, this offers enormous advantages in multi-currency accounts, as I have written a report on this, it is incredibly important that there is not just one system that translates everything, but multiple layers that work side by side to form the big picture. In addition, blockchain documentation increases security, as every transaction manipulation is secure and immediately traceable, and immediately the economic impact of this technological breakthrough is enormous. It is estimated that the application of distributed ledger technology could reduce operating costs within the global payments sector by as much as 30%. Here, in view of global transaction volumes reaching trillions, there is a significant potential for cost savings for both the institution and its clientele. Your deal, very, very, very cool. Friends, let's just let this all sink in a little. We need to really absorb this information, particularly given the publication of these permission decks. The topic we'll be discussing in more detail shortly. And about the subject matter, I'm quite unsure this moment. I believe it was related to Deutsche Bank and Swift. Over the past few days, we've seen a very large number of reports. Please check out the X page for more details. There was a Standard Chartered partnership, a Citigroup partnership, and all of Ripple's other partners. I mean, all of them, including HSBC. Deutsche Bank was also involved, and now this exact same scenario is repeating. Listen, I don't want to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but it's just unbelievably bizarre the way we keep having this same connection, isn't it?
Somehow it fits, Liz.
Fits like a glove.
I mean, it works out. They could have checked XAB Germany a good 4 years back. They possessed the information then. I have no idea why they're bringing this up now at this late stage in the process.
That's a good question. Right now, because of the regulatory stimulus law, everything is going in the right direction. People are panicking. They don't believe in the big picture anymore. And in the meantime, something like this is happening. And so, yeah, what else can I say?
Bliss, I'm still betting on XP. I remain convinced that XP will reach 100%.
I'm waiting for the price to fall to allow me to keep buying Bitcoin and XP. I've been getting annoyed the whole time.
We already have the funds ready on Bitvavo. That's why if you also want to prepare yourself here, Bitvo, you'll get another €20 welcome bonus in XP with our link under this video. All you have to do is click register and get your account ready for a potential market correction. If things take a turn for the worse with the Iran situation, let's say, prepare to buy during that period. Conversely, we might see peace and cooperation, or it's possible that a discount is already reflected in the market.
It's impossible to say for sure right now. We really don't know.
With a new law and the like, the prices will go up, right? Definitely be prepared with the exchanges beforehand. That's why we're ready. We've already deposited funds. We're ready.
We're here.
We're ready at the starting line. So list straight away. Now the question is, do we go into XP or Bitcoin first?
Wow, it depends on which coin is performing worse. You all know XP, our top asset, #1 in their portfolio. We acquired it for a remarkably low price, and naturally, the disappointment is considerably greater when one expects far, far more. That's always a question. We're still heading in the right direction if we continue like this. The BS we filled up again really strongly. It pains me to think about it. It pains me to think about
We've always bought items under 50 cents, yet now we're paying over that price, even going over €1.
I don't think long term either, right? It's the same with Bitcoin. If it's under 50 cents, you might ask yourself, Bitcoin bought around $8,000, and now, of course, it's significantly higher. Looking at it this way is painful, but a longer perspective reveals that it results in significantly higher prices.
Significantly higher prices then. Yeah. No, what's 50 cents? What's euros and so on?
What are we doing this for? We're not waiting because we see $3. That's quite clear. This section included a cool statement or possibly a short interview from Mr. Bierler himself. Exactly. And that was very interesting. Again, check this out. Let's retweet it on X, even CEO about the institutional breakthrough of XAP. He said, I've been waiting for this moment around XP. Everything is coming together. NASDAQ listing is XHPN. Q26 will see the first regulated XP trash model.
Trying to see if they run his thing. These guys are talking fast and it's kind of crazy. But I want to see if they actually run this video.
The investment of Unshop or something?
Guess
Lend
not.
XP is a micro
Yeah, we're gonna
strategy.
keep it
There's
moving. Saw the information, but they're talking fast. So go back to something that makes sense. Ripple CEO predicts big win for Clarity Act. Let's run this real quick. Ripple's massive. I kind of want to play this, but I kind of don't because they get kind of weird with actual interviews. But actually, it's the same thing. I guess we'll play this one then. Actually, what the heck? We'll play this one. See what happens
crypto
here.
markets, the bill facing a Senate standoff over stablecoin reward rules, whether crypto players can pay rewards for customers moving money from traditional.
Again, we're stuck on stablecoin rewards because the bank's freaking greedy. So I don't know, but we will see here, and I'll double check.
Additional banks to the crypto platforms. The White House stepping in to broker a deal, setting a March 1st deadline to move the legislation forward before the midterms. Joining me now is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, back with us. Brad, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. So you predicted an 80% chance that this bill is signed by April, saying that clarity is better and obviously than uncertainty. Tell us where you get that expectation.
Well, I mean, to some degree, you can never predict exactly how Senate and Congress is going to act. But
unless you're in the prediction markets.
That's we should talk about that too.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Look, actually, the prediction markets around this point, around the Clarity Act, spiked because of some comments yesterday from Senator Moreno, who's been an advocate. I think it's now 90% it will pass by the end of April. I had said a couple weeks ago, I thought end of April at the time. People thought that was a little optimistic. There's a meeting today with a lot of leaders on both sides, the crypto and banking, in the White House. Actually, it's in 30 minutes or so. Ripple's chief legal officer is representing kind of Team Ripple there. But the White House is pushing hard on this, and I think that is a big reason why it will get done. It needs to get done for U.S. leadership. President Trump has been a clear leader and put the stake out there that we need the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. That's good for U.S. competitiveness, and that leadership from David Sachs and Patrick Witt in the White House have been really critical around this.
So what's the Ripple position in the meeting today?
Our position is very much don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. No bill that gets to Congress or gets through Congress, no bill's perfect. And I think that it got stalled because I think some in the industry were kind of pushing for something a little bit more perfect. Our view is we need clarity. Ripple has been fortunate, and we got sued by the U.S. government and had a federal judge say XRP is not a security. We have clarity. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And you got that clarity in the Genius Act.
We did get with the stablecoin market got that clarity in the Genius Act, but the industry, the crypto and blockchain industry in the United States, needs the same clarity that Ripple had to fight for in the courts. And I think for this
that
industry,
XRP is a security.
XRP is not a security.
Okay.
And that's what the courts ruled very clearly. And so we were very happy to have that. But the whole industry can't live in limbo. And so our argument is the Clarity Act, it needs to get done for the industry to thrive here in the United States.
So how do the rules differ when you're overseen by the CFTC since the CFTC will oversee non-securities and the SEC will be in charge of securities.
Correct. So if something's a security, you have all kinds of obligations because if you own part of a company, it's a security, then you get dividends, you get right title and interest to governance rules, who you elect to the board of directors. That's not true in the crypto industry. And that's, I think, the false narrative that the Biden administration, the war that the Biden administration waged on crypto ultimately failed in the courts. And I think it was failed the United States, failed the people of the United States. And I think trying to push it into a securities framework that was developed literally 80, almost 100 years ago, never made sense. And I think the courts have clarified that. And if we get the Clarity Act passed, I think the whole industry can continue to thrive here.
Very good. Meanwhile, we're talking about a pretty good sell-off in prices. Give us the impact on Ripple. I mean, when you see crypto like Bitcoin down, what, 50% from the highs, others down 40% from the highs. What's behind that and how has it impacted Ripple?
Well, look, I think one of the things is what we're talking about right now, the lack of clarity. And I think as the Clarity Act got pushed, stalled in late January, that certainly didn't help. Look, Ripple had a tremendous year in 2025, and we're starting 2026 in a really strong place because there's more interest from CFOs and treasurers and even boards of directors saying, hey, how could we be using these technologies to make our systems more efficient? Stablecoins, to me, are the starting line. That's where it starts. And it gives experimentation of, okay, now I can move my money 24/7. I can move it more inexpensively. And so stablecoins are the starting point, but blockchain and crypto infrastructure can really change payments broadly. We're seeing that from the Treasurer's office. We're seeing that around what we call prime brokerage services to provide liquidity. Ripple, partly through some acquisitions we did last year, is in a really strong spot as we start the year. To your point about the crypto markets, XRP actually has been the best performing major crypto this year. It's down about 20%. ETH, for example, is down about 33%. And I think the more we demonstrate real practical utility using these technologies to solve real problems, the more you're going to see that play out in a positive way.
Let's go back to the acquisitions that Ripple has made, spending $3 billion on acquisitions since 2023. You've expanded it to custody, prime brokerage, treasury management, stablecoin payments, also launching a new treasury platform. How do you continue to scale this up? You had the $1 billion treasury deal aimed at deepening institutional integration. Brad, give us a sense of where the company goes next with all of these businesses now.
So Ripple has been very focused on how do we build bridges between what we've called traditional finance and decentralized finance, or crypto. And those bridges are kind of the core of where our products sit. What we found in buying a company in the treasury management services business, for example, G Treasury is the name of the company, now called Ripple Treasury, but they processed or orchestrated about $13 trillion of payments last year. Wow. 0 of those payments were crypto enabled. 0 of those payments were stablecoin enabled. And again, what we're seeing, they have over 1,000 customers, corporates that are using their technologies. What we're seeing is those treasurers, those CFOs, even the CEOs are pushing. They want to see how these technologies can make their systems unlock capital that's been trapped overseas, for example. So we're seeing that push. And now we have a great suite of solutions to introduce crypto to those. But today, again, there's 0 overlap between the crypto solutions and what G Treasury had in the past. So it's bringing those together.
So are you expecting more acquisitions then in terms of scaling it further?
We bought two big companies last year. And so the first half of this year is very much on let's pause. Integrate. That takes some work. I was actually in Chicago yesterday where the G Treasury is headquartered. And, look, I'm incredibly excited by the direction of travel we're seeing. Both of those acquisitions are way ahead of our forecast when we bought them. So we're very happy with that. But for the time being, we're going to slow down for a minute before we speed up.
But you've seen, corporate America spend, hundreds of billions of dollars, try to adapt to this new world that we're seeing. On a practical level, tell us how things will change in financial services with regard to the digital asset story.
So Ripple is focused is very much on the corporate customer. And so I'll answer that less from the consumer point of view and more from the corporate, right? So if you're a treasurer and managing, a balance sheet that has hundreds of millions of dollars in 10 different bank accounts around the world in different currencies, even Workday, for example, they hadn't hedged some of their foreign currencies and had a $700 million markdown because they hadn't hedged. And what really a big piece of Ripple's business now is that CFO dashboard. Give me visibility to all my liquidity, even if it's held in stablecoins, even if it's held in digital assets. Because as we've seen, more and more companies are saying, we want exposure to this asset class on our balance sheet. And so seeing that all in one place, being able to manage payments, being able to hedge risk, understanding liquidity, getting yield, because a lot of these, it's interesting, we see that portfolio and hundreds of billions of dollars are sitting dormant in, a 10 basis point yield account that could do much better.
What did you make of the Clarity Act getting stalled? Because partly you had the folks at Coinbase saying, look, we don't like the language here when it comes to the rewards. Is that the only or main sticking point here? What else needs to be done to get that legislation back on track?
So it is definitely the main sticking point. And I think you saw the vast majority of the crypto industry kind of leaning in and saying, hey, while this may not be perfect, this is a major step forward and we need that clarity. I do think the way I think about it as you back up, we need a level playing field for both sides. You've seen the CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, come out and kind of as an advocate for the Clarity Act, because Goldman Sachs wants that same level playing field to compete with potentially crypto companies. I love that. That means the traditional financial industry is coming into the crypto industry more and more, and they want to make sure for them to compete, they have those clear rules of the road.
Very different than what you saw, for example, from JP Morgan a couple of years ago.
The tides have changed significantly. And yes, Jamie Dimon has gone from saying very negative things to saying some pretty constructive things. I think as you zoom out and look over the next 10 years, that's going to continue.
Wow, a real changing backdrop here for finance. Brad, great to have you this morning.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much, Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So shout out to Fox for that article. Moving forward, this is Bullwinkle Blueprint. Wharf Dog. XRP one day will wake up and these masses will be priced out. 1,700 NDAs for a reason. What? You're right. People are waiting and waiting and waiting, and at some point they're going to be priced out of the market. Let's hit this last Bullwinkle, and I think there is a video from Oscar. Let's do Bullwinkle and then hit Oscar later.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Happy Thursday. One day away from the weekend. I do believe it's a payday Friday, which makes it even freaking better. Last night, we had a double header in kickball. We faced I don't know if I think they're the national kickball champions we faced last night. Yes, I guess it's a national kickball tournament that goes on somewhere. And guess what? We beat them. That's right. Out of retirement, this team, our team, my team, we haven't played together in about, I don't know, I think it's 3 or 4 years at this point. We took it to them. I'll tell you, they went up early 2-1, but then we just opened it up. And don't worry, your boy Rip, he leads off 4 for 4, 3 runs, and an RBI. Thank you. I am terribly sore today. We won the next game. It was an easy game versus another team, but 3-0. Look, man, coming out of retirement, a bunch of old people out there playing around kickball with the younger kids. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Anyways, enough about me. Hopefully you're having an amazing day. But look, you clicked on this video for a simple reason, because the title told you that a global banking giant just tapped Ripple. I'm not going to waste your time here. But that's exactly what happened. The Deutsche Bank, one of the largest and most influential financial institutions on the planet, is now deepening its integration with Ripple's blockchain infrastructure to rewire how your international money is going to move. Folks, it's not a rumor. It's not me trying to piece 2 and 2 together. We got the official announcement. The pilot is underway. This is a directional shift. Now, here's what most people in crypto think when they hear something like this. And tell me if I'm wrong, please. They think, okay, another bank is experimenting with blockchain. Cool. We'll see how it goes, right? The assumption is that these institutions are dipping a toe in the water, running a proof of concept and some side office while their actual business runs on the same rails it's been running on for 40 years. The general belief is that Swift isn't going anywhere. The banks love it. They love talking about blockchain as well, but they don't actually use it. And that XRP specifically has been stuck in legal limbo so long that any real institutional adoption is still years away. Well, I'm here to tell you that's wrong. That is not the way to think about this. And all the evidence that I got today, it backs it up. We are not watching banks experiment with blockchain. We are watching the first wave of banks replace your legacy infrastructure in production. There is a difference between a pilot and a pivot. Let's make that very clear. What Deutsche Bank is signaling is a pivot. And the timing isn't random because right now, at this moment, we have three separate forces who are all converging right now. Regulatory clarity around XRP, institutional grade DeFi on the XRP ledger, and a White House that is actively meeting with crypto stakeholders about stablecoin yields. That's right. Let's jump into this, folks. Deutsche Bank replacing Swift. That's right. Let's be precise here about what they are doing, okay? So you walk away from this video with a clear understanding and you know exactly the playbook. The headline here that you see, it undersells it. This isn't Deutsche Bank adding Ripple as a payment option. This is Deutsche Bank modernizing processes that have historically relied on your legacy networks, specifically Swift, right? By replacing that infrastructure with blockchain rails built within the Ripple ecosystem. Now, Swift has been the backbone of international banking for over 50 years, maybe even longer. When a bank of Deutsche Bank's size and influence starts moving away from it in a meaningful operational direction, that is a tectonic shift, not a fear update. Now, the specific problems that they are trying to solve and the ones that every bank face but really talk about publicly, cross-border payments are slow. They cost a lot, and they are dependent on a chain of intermediaries that each take time, charges fees, and introduce a damn settlement risk. The Ripple ecosystem addresses all three of those problems simultaneously. Your transactions, they're settled in seconds rather than days. Your cost drops dramatically when you remove the corresponding banking chain, and your transparency increases because the blockchain creates an immutable record of every transaction. Deutsche Bank stated that their goal is to make cross-border payments flows faster, more efficient, and more transparent, and to fundamentally modernize the structures of international money transfers. Fundamentally modernize. That is not the language of a pilot program. That is the language of a strategic infrastructure decision. Folks, this is absolutely massive. I know they got an article on it here, but they don't seem to link it. But I want to get over to Ask Claude about this partnership to break it down, okay? Here is the framing around this deal that most crypto Twitter, I see it. I still got a full cup of coffee. I can't speak. That crypto Twitter is getting wrong. People are out here talking about this as an XRP price catalyst. And look, maybe it is. But the biggest story, it is what it represents for the actual architecture of global finance. For decades, the argument against crypto and banking was that it was unproven, that your regulatory environment was too murky, and that your legacy systems, however slow and expensive, were at least reliable. So Deutsche Bank opening this door and allowing Ripple in and Ripple's blockchain infrastructure. This is a direct call out for all three of those objections all at the same time. The regulatory environment has been clear enough to move, especially outside the US. The legacy system is no longer considered reliable, or we should say more reliable than what Ripple has built. When the institutions that manage these assets, folks, for some of the largest corporations and sovereign wealth funds on the planet, when they make that call, it changes the calculus for every single bank that is watching. And trust me, every other bank is watching here. Now look at this. Deutsche Bank, they are the leading bank in Germany, operating across 58 countries with a large presence in Europe, the Americas, and Asia. It has been designated a globally systemically important bank by the Financial Stability Board since 2011. Are you kidding me? A systemically important bank, folks. You combine with the DWS group, it holds approximately over 2.2 trillion in assets, making it Europe's fourth biggest asset manager. That is absolutely wild. They got almost 90,000 people employed. Their shares are traded on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. Folks, I don't think you really understand how big this is. Yeah, they're going to use the XRP ledger. And guess what? If you use the XRP ledger, you got to use XRP. It isn't a gasless blockchain. Here's the official document coming over. Deutsche Bank is further advancing the digital transformation of the banking sector, increasingly relying on technologies from the Ripple ecosystem. The aim is to make cross-border payment flows faster, more efficient, and more transparent. Well, how the hell do you do that, folks? How do you move money cross-border and make it more efficient? You need XRP, dude. Don't let anyone else out there tell you that they're not going to be using XRP here, because they have no freaking clue what they are talking about. Now, look, check this out. Over at XRPrightnow.com, we posted this article this morning. XRP CEO, or excuse me, the article is called XRP, and then CEO signals a key moment. Not the XRP CEO. I tried breaking it up. Just we got a CEO here. Okay. So I know we got tied up in Deutsche Bank, but it's that big. It deserved most of the video. What can you say? So we scroll down to this article, and what do we see? Evernorth, Ashish Birla. That's right. We know they got a substantial position in XRP. And rather than simply sitting on it, guess what they're doing? They're injecting that institutional capital directly into DeFi protocols built on the XRP ledger. I want you to think about this. Think lending, think provision or liquidity provisioning, think yield generation, but for institutions, right? Not for retail traders. Ashish said this. He said his thesis is very specific. Okay. After a decade of development, the XRP ledger's DeFi ecosystem is now mature enough to support real financial activity at institutional level. He's not talking about an experiment here, folks. He's talking about operational deployment. And if his strategy, if it works, if it does something profound, if it deepens XRP liquidity, if it expands its use case beyond just payments and gives other corporate treasury departments a playbook for integrating XRP into their own balance sheets, this is a massive win. The comparison being made here is to what Bitcoin treasury adoption, where one company's bold move, MicroStrategy, essentially gave every CFO in America permission to ask the question seriously. That's what Evernorth is doing. If they, whatever they are planning, and if they do it correctly and it works, they are going to be the MicroStrategy of the XRP ledger, and everyone else will be following their playbooks. So you probably think, why is this matter beyond XRP price speculation? I'll tell you why. Because what Evernorth is building is the institutional grade financial scaffolding that makes widespread adoption possible. You cannot have Deutsche Bank or any other major bank rely on a network that doesn't have deep liquidity and diverse use cases. It's that simple. every dollar of institutional capital Evernorth deploys into the XRP Ledger DeFi, it makes the entire ecosystem more credible, more stable, and more attractive to the next institution considering the move. Evernorth is essentially building the on-ramp so that the bigger trucks can follow. Think about that. And as all that is going on, you got Ripple and Deutsche Bank who are tag teaming up, and they're going to dive deep in because they're sick of Swift Shift, and they're going to replace the system. They're going to start using XRP. This is one of the biggest banks in Europe or Germany, expanding across Europe. When people see what they are doing and how they are cutting their cost with the use of XRP instead of going through all these intermediaries, what do you think the other people are going to do? They are going to follow their exact move, their exact playbook. I told you, it only takes one, folks. It only takes one. They're the leading bank in Germany and operate across 58 countries. Folks, it just takes one. This could be the one. As always, look, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up. Don't be shy. Leave me a comment. What do you think about this? This is huge. This came out of nowhere. Pay attention because there's going to be a lot more. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, enjoy your day. Be safe. I'll see all y'all in a little bit.
So shout out to Crypto Bullwinkle. Hope he's all right from the what is that? From the kickball. And this is ended up with Oscar.
Welcome back. U.S. lawmakers ramping.
We'll see. CEO Brad Garlinghouse just dropped a brand new interview conversation with Maria from Fox Business. I haven't watched it, so I want us to do it together. You're going to like this one, guys. Ripple CEO says 80% chance that Clarity Act passes by April. So by April, we're going to have a new FOMC meeting. And we're going to have more data. We're going to have more news, right? It's over a month from now. So I'm open to whatever happens. Links down below, everybody, to all of our links. You can make more money and you can make more. We got 3,000 XRP from BTCC by the end of this month. Get it? You know what to do. Link down below. Sign up and drop a like. Tell us in the comments what you feel. I know it's not the greatest time to be in crypto, but by the same token, it is the greatest opportunity to be in crypto. If you know, you know. With no further ado, welcome. What a Thursday. Let's play this beauty. It's about 9 minutes long, and I want to enjoy this with you for the first time. Let's go, XRP Army.
Welcome back. U.S. lawmakers ramping up efforts to advance the stalled Clarity Act aimed at bringing regulatory certainty to crypto markets. The bill facing a Senate standoff over stablecoin reward rules, whether crypto players can pay rewards for customers moving money from traditional banks to the crypto platforms. The White House stepping in to broker a deal, setting a March 1st deadline to move the legislation forward before the midterms. Joining me now is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, back with us. Brad, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. So you predicted an 80% chance that this bill is signed by April, saying that clarity is better and obviously than uncertainty. Tell us where you get that expectation.
Well, I mean, to some degree, you can never predict exactly how Senate and Congress is going to act. But
unless you're in the prediction markets.
That's, we should talk about that too.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Look, actually, the prediction markets around this point, around the Clarity Act, spiked because of some comments yesterday from Senator Moreno, who's been an advocate. I think it's now 90% it will pass by the end of April. I had said a couple weeks ago, I thought end of April. At the time, people thought that was a little optimistic. There's a meeting today with a lot of leaders on both sides, the crypto and banking, in the White House. Actually, it's in 30 minutes or so. Ripple's chief legal officer is representing kind of Team Ripple there. But the White House is pushing hard on this, and I think that is a big reason why it will get done. It needs to get done for U.S. leadership. President Trump has been a clear leader and put the stake out there that we need the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. That's good for U.S. competitiveness. And that leadership from David Sachs and Patrick Witt in the White House have been really critical around this.
So what's the Ripple position in the meeting today?
Our position is very much don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. No bill that gets to Congress or gets through Congress, no bill's perfect. And I think that it got stalled because I think some in the industry were kind of pushing for something a little bit more perfect. Our view is we need clarity. Ripple has been fortunate, and we got sued by the U.S. government and had a federal judge say XRP is not a security. We have clarity. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And you got that clarity in the Genius Act.
We did get with the stablecoin market got that clarity in the Genius Act, but the industry, the crypto and blockchain industry in the United States needs the same clarity that Ripple had to fight for in the courts. And I think for this
that
industry,
XRP is a security.
The XRP is not
XRP.
a security. Okay, and that's what the courts ruled very clearly. And so we were very happy to have that. But the whole industry can't live in limbo. And so our argument is the Clarity Act, it needs to get done for the industry to thrive here in the United States.
So how do the rules differ when you're overseen by the CFTC, since the CFTC will oversee non-securities and the SEC will be in charge of securities?
Correct. So if something's a security, you have all kinds of obligations because if you own part of a company, it's a security, then you get dividends, you get right title and interest to governance rules, who you elect to the board of directors. That's not true in the crypto industry. And that's, I think, the false narrative that the Biden administration, the war that the Biden administration waged on crypto ultimately failed in the courts. And I think it failed the United States, failed the people of the United States. And I think trying to push it into a securities framework that was developed literally 80, almost 100 years ago, never made sense. And I think the courts have clarified that. And if we get the Clarity Act passed, I think the whole industry can continue to thrive here.
Very good. Meanwhile, we're talking about a pretty good sell-off in prices.
I know.
Give us the impact on Ripple. I mean, when you see crypto like Bitcoin down, 50% from the highs, others down 40% from the highs. What's behind that and how has it impacted Ripple?
Well, look, I think one of the things is what we're talking about right now, the lack of clarity. And I think as the Clarity Act got pushed, stalled in late January, that certainly didn't help. Look, Ripple had a tremendous year in 2025, and we're starting 2026 in a really strong place because there's more interest from CFOs and treasurers and even boards of directors saying, hey, how could we be using these technologies to make our systems more efficient? Stablecoins, to me, are the starting line. That's where it starts. And it gives experimentation of, okay, now I can move my money 24/7. I can move it more inexpensively. And so stablecoins are the starting point, but blockchain and crypto infrastructure can really change payments broadly. We're seeing that from the Treasurer's office. We're seeing that around what we call prime brokerage services to provide liquidity. Ripple, partly through some acquisitions we did last year, is in a really strong spot as we start the year. To your point about the crypto markets, XRP actually has been the best performing major crypto this year. It's down about 20%. ETH, for example, is down about 33%. And I think the more we demonstrate real practical utility using these technologies to solve real problems, the more you're going to see that play out in a positive way.
Let's go back to the acquisitions that Ripple has made, spending $3 billion on acquisitions since 2023. You've expanded it to custody, prime brokerage, treasury management, stablecoin payments, also launching a new treasury platform. How do you continue to scale this up? You had the $1 billion treasury deal aimed at deepening institutional integration. Brad, give us a sense of where the company goes next with all of these businesses now.
So Ripple has been very focused on how do we build bridges between what we've called traditional finance and decentralized finance, or crypto. And those bridges are kind of the core of where our products sit. What we found in buying a company in the treasury management services business, for example, G Treasury is the name of the company, now called Ripple Treasury, but they processed or orchestrated about $13 trillion of payments last year. Wow. 0 of those payments were crypto enabled. 0 of those payments were stablecoin enabled. And again, what we're seeing, they have over 1,000 customers, corporates that are using their technologies. What we're seeing is those treasurers, those CFOs, even the CEOs are pushing. They want to see how these technologies can make their systems unlock capital that's been trapped overseas, for example. So we're seeing that push. And now we have a great suite of solutions to introduce crypto to those. But today, again, there's zero overlap between the crypto solutions and what G Treasury had in the past. So it's bringing those together.
So are you expecting more acquisitions then in terms of scaling it further?
We bought two big companies last year. And so the first half of this year is very much on let's pause, integrate. That takes some work. I was actually in Chicago yesterday where the G Treasury is headquartered. And, look, I'm incredibly excited by the direction of travel we're seeing. Both of those acquisitions are way ahead of our forecast when we bought them. So we're very happy with that. But for the time being, we're going to slow down for a minute before we speed up.
But you've seen, corporate America spend hundreds of billions of dollars try to adapt to this new world that we're seeing. On a practical level, tell us how things will change in financial services with regard to the digital asset story.
So Ripple is focused is very much on the corporate customer. And so I'll answer that less from the consumer point of view and more from the corporate, right? So if you're a treasurer and managing, a balance sheet that has hundreds of millions of dollars in 10 different bank accounts around the world in different currencies, even Workday, for example, they hadn't hedged some of their foreign currencies and had a $700 million markdown because they hadn't hedged. And what really a big piece of Ripple's business now is that CFO dashboard. Give me visibility to all my liquidity, even if it's held in stablecoins, even if it's held in digital assets. Because as we've seen, more and more companies are saying, we want exposure to this asset class on our balance sheet. And so seeing that all in one place, being able to manage payments, being able to hedge risk, understanding liquidity, getting yield, because a lot of these, it's interesting, we see that portfolio and hundreds of billions of dollars are sitting dormant in, a 10 basis point yield account that could do much better.
What did you make of the Clarity Act getting stalled because partly you had the folks at Coinbase saying, look, we don't like the language here when it comes to the rewards. Is that the only or main sticking point here? What else needs to be done to get that legislation back on track?
So it is definitely the main sticking point. And I think you saw the vast majority of the crypto industry kind of leaning in and saying, hey, while this may not be perfect, this is a major step forward and we need that clarity. I do think the way I think about it as you back up, we need a level playing field for both sides. You've seen the CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, come out and kind of as an advocate for the Clarity Act because Goldman Sachs wants that same level playing field to compete with potentially crypto companies. I love that. That means the traditional financial industry is coming into the crypto industry more and more, and they want to make sure for them to compete, they have those clear rules of the road.
Very different than what you saw, for example, from JP Morgan a couple of years ago.
The tides have changed significantly. And yes, Jamie Dimon has gone from saying very negative things to saying some pretty constructive things. I think as you zoom out and look over the next 10 years, that's going to continue.
Wow. A real changing backdrop here for finance. Brad, great to have you this morning.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. Stay with us. We'll be
Boom! That was so good. And the price, let's ignore the price for a little second. Oh my God. I know. You don't have to tell me. We are in the dumpster, but it's okay. Guys, I know it gets cheaper and cheaper, but it's 3,000 XRP, still 3,000 XRP. So give it a look. Links down below. Come on over. And once you finish this one, come on to BitUnex as well. More up to 10,000 and welcome bonus, guys, and more extra trading and deposit rewards here with my link. And there's my code that is going to be added immediately and automatically. Today at 9 a.m., they had the third White House meeting on stablecoins and yield kickoff. So pretty nice. Coinbase, Ripple, and more. So Ripple was there as per Eleanor. So it's really nice. Hey, they're trying to do their best right now. They're really pushing. They are really, 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 really pushing, guys. So here it is. There's another one. There's exactly what we just watched. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. And they just had the Board of Peace, another conversation. So it's pretty nice, things are moving, although prices are also down, but things are moving. And I kind of wanted to keep you in the know. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. The breaking news are ready for you, and I'll see you next time.
So shout out to Oscar And thanks for joining. And as we said, Deutsche Bank is about to make Ripple XRP open for business. But as always, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. And get ready. We'll be doing a Zabic live coming up next. But as always, peace and hair grease is your main man, BTM, signing out. Miners out.